everyone, it's Hanna, international speaker, certified success coach, brand strategist, and a real person. And today, let's talk about how to get raving fans who are excited and ready to invest with you. Because the truth is, as coaches and consultants, there's a lot of noise out there. And it can feel like you're always just on this hamster wheel of posting and commenting and chatting and engaging. And sometimes building a brand or a cohesive message feels like not a priority. And so today I want to give you just a good overview and some nuggets that you can start to implement in your messaging, branding, and business starting today that will help build those raving fans, the people who know, like, and trust you, because you have to have all three in order for people to be ready and excited to work with you. So let's talk about how to prime the machine, how to get people coming into your world, whether it's online or a brick and mortar, and move them through your sales process in a way that doesn't feel salesy at all, but really inspires them to make a decision they're excited about working with you because they know, like, and trust you. And to build a fan base, you really want to play to each of those elements. You want people to know you, you want people to like you, and you want people to trust you. This isn't new information, but today I'm going to talk to you about how you can apply, how you can work, how you can make your brand more beneficial for yourself and your base, your fan base, in 2020 and beyond. Let's talk about moving people from cool, interested, lurking, maybe knowing about you, to building a fan base of raving and loyal fans that will work with you not just one time, but continue to hang around, continue to be a champion, a cheerleader of you and your work. Because the more people that you can impact, the more people that you can reach, the bigger your legacy will be, the more money you'll earn, and obviously the more people you get to actually help, transform, coach. When we talk about branding, we're really talking about a holistic experience. Branding is not your logo, it's not your colors, it's not your font, it's not even your catchline. Branding is really a process. And it starts from when people start to learn about you all the way through to working with you, right? So that whole lineage, that whole pilgrimage, if you will, from the beginning of getting to know you to working with you and hanging around. And you can have raving fans at every single step on your sales funnel, right? People who just follow you on Instagram and love everything you say and do, all the way to the people who keep renewing and working with you over and over. And that fan base is really important because we know that building the know, like, and trust factor does take time. Lots of people want to hack that. People tell you you're one funnel away from $1 million. But the truth is, consistent business growth and really building a fan base does take time and it takes effort. And so if you just have a little strategy behind you from the get-go, from the beginning, you will reap the benefits now and 5 years down the line. So when we talk about branding, we're really talking about the user experience. How do people feel when they're interacting with you online, virtually, or in your programs? That famous quote, people don't remember what you tell them, but they remember how you make them feel. And this is really the essence of branding. So maybe your color and your logo and what you say goes into that brand, but let's take it to really the essence of branding. And that is you, your voice, your message, your personality, how you make people feel. Important note about this pilgrimage we're talking about, from getting to know you to working with you. There are two types of buyers, two types of people in your fan base. Number one, the people who are on the treadmill, and number two, the people who are walking on the sidewalk. Type number one, they're on the treadmill, they're speed demons, they're gonna move through things quickly. I'm totally a treadmill type in many ways, but also in buying. When I see something and I know I want it, I'm just gonna go do it. I'll talk to you once and I'll buy your program. Those are the people who are on the treadmill. Yep, I need this, let's do it. And then you have people who are on the sidewalk. These are folks who are kind of like window shopping, right? Just walking, they kind of see what's available, they're there for the long haul. And your brand needs to be able to speak to both of those people. People who get to know you and boom, want your thing, and the people who find you and watch you and observe and like and comment, and maybe one day they'll purchase. And so your branding, what you message, has to be able to speak to both of those people. How do we do that? Consistency. Okay, you're sick of hearing this, but you guys, I've talked about this so many times. Whether you're looking to lose 10 pounds, dye your hair, or start a coaching business, like there has to be consistency. You can't just run for one day and lose 10 pounds. You can't just dye one strand of your hair and be a brunette. You can't just talk to one person and have a coaching business, right? So consistency, showing up regularly, is really the key to being able to speak to both the sidewalkers and the treadmillers. Now, you have to be able to convey who you are and make people feel the way you want them to feel, whether they're on the treadmill or on the sidewalk. Meaning, you can't just play the long game and slowly drip out who you are and what you do. You have to be able to give them that fast and slow opportunity to get to know you. So consistency, having lots of posts, is really an important way to start this. When I talk about posts, if you aren't already working on a social media platform, if you don't already have like a content schedule, which by the way, we have a video about, I highly recommend just choosing one. I know it can feel really sexy and exciting to be in all of the places, create an omnipresence. But think about if you just had one jug of water, you're one person, and you had 15 cups to fill. You had LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, podcast, blog, the other person's blog, the other person's podcast. You had all these cups to fill that you wanted to be showing up on consistently. So you take your one jug and you splash a little in all 15. You're just splashing all the time. Splash, splash, splash. You're never actually filling up a cup. It's much better to choose one social media platform and pour everything into it. Go all in. Don't 1/15 ass the efforts. Get good at one platform and then move on to filling up the next cup. Go deep into one social media platform or one marketing strategy, like just focusing on LinkedIn, just focusing on YouTube. Get good at that. You'll build systems, you'll delegate, you'll create a machine that you can then let go and then move on to the next. This is true for everything in business. It'll be much more efficient if you focus on one thing at a time. Fill up one cup and then move on. So when I'm talking about consistency, this will look different for whatever platform. So when I'm talking about consistency, this will look different for whatever platform you choose. LinkedIn, you should be posting once a day. Instagram, you could post multiple times a day. YouTube, maybe you just post once a week. So you have to define what consistency means to you and then stick to it. Keeping our agreements is one of the most critical habits to build self-esteem and success. If you say, I'm going to post on LinkedIn every single day, and then you start to break that agreement to yourself, your subconscious doesn't believe you, and neither does your audience. So if you start posting for a month and you're on there every single day, people start to know, like, and trust your content, that you're going to show up for them. And then you start taking days off, or then you jump to YouTube and you're kind of all over the place. That hurts your brand. It hurts the know, like, and trust factor. So decide, where are you going to post, how often. I don't care if it's one time a week. Choose something to stick to for at least 3 months. We know that there are cycles in business. There's a 30-day cycle, a 60-day cycle, and a 90-day cycle where you start to see the results that you put in. Okay, results are not immediate in business. They take time. You have to plant seeds, and then the next month you'll start to see the benefits. And when it comes to content, 90 days is that good cadence to get some data, to make some decisions, and learn about that cup, like I talked about, filling it up. 90 days, be committed. Okay, so what do you post? Sure, you're committed to posting consistently. Well, what do you need to say? And when people come to me and they're like, Hannah, what should I say? I can't think of anything. I always encourage them to don't reinvent the wheel. Look, no coach is saying anything brand new. No dentist is saying anything brand new. No person working at Target is saying anything new, right? All of us as professionals need to understand that cliches and the things that work. Don't try to be the most different or extreme or come up with all these new things to do in your marketing. Be yourself. Do what works, okay? So you can definitely take a look at how other coaches are marketing themselves, but the best way to figure out what to say is to think about, what do you often say in your coaching practice? Or what do you wish your clients knew? Or what are the topics you're most passionate about? Obviously, going into content creation and what to say, that's a whole nother thing. We're really talking about just branding and the essence, like I said today. So here are some tips for copywriting your posts. Number 1, use your voice. Write like you speak. So when I was in 5th grade, I was told I was a bad writer because I write like I talk. I used puns, I used ... I used exclamation points, I didn't use correct grammar. And now that is my superpower, that I write like I speak. People get engaged. They don't want to read a textbook. They don't want to read a news article. When they're on social media, they're looking for social. When they're looking for a leader, when they want to connect with you, they're not going to connect if you're talking like a textbook or you're totally put together. So give yourself grace to write the way you speak. Use your voice. Be you. Another fun way to do this is to coin isms. So you might start to find that in your day-to-day you use hella. I use the word hella. It's a Northern California term that I picked up when I moved to California. But I also say, hey, you guys. It's a very Midwestern thing. I say oofda a lot. If you're Midwestern, you know that feeling. And so I use the things that I say, like those little isms, and it's hella fun. People notice it. People start to get a sense of my personality, even if they don't hear my voice, even if they don't, even if they're just on the sidewalk. So that's the first thing. First and foremost, use your regular voice. The second thing is take some time right now to get intentional about your brand values. So this is something I have all of my private clients do, is journal out what are your 5 brand values, which essentially is answering the question, how do you want to be remembered? I ask you to do this with your mission statement, but it has to also be true in your content. Remember, branding is all about how you make people feel. So once you leave the room, or once they're done scrolling through your stuff, how do you want people to feel? Is it educated, inspired, real, funny, honest, agitated? What are those values that you want to stand on? It's not that you're going to go then and say, okay, today I must make a post about my education value. But rather, hey, I need to educate on something. You need to embody those values. So I actually have all 5 of my values on a Post-it note where I can see it when I write content, because I want to remember it to be positive, to be educational, to remember to talk about travel and doing life differently. I want to talk about the importance of being real, and I also want to help people dream big. Those are my values. What are yours? Journal out your 5 brand values, and then get ready to start to speak to those in your voice, your brand voice, which is just the way you talk. And then the fun part comes, experimentation. So there are some apps that you can use for specific platforms, like on LinkedIn, you can use Shield app. On Instagram, you can just use your own analytics. On Facebook, use your ads manager to figure out what works, what gets the engagement. Use data, not drama. So find these tools, review at the end of every 30 days what content drove the most business, what conversations, or what posts drove the most engagement, where did conversations come from in your business, and then replicate that. Marketing is all about figuring out what works so that you can do it again. Don't always be reinventing the wheel. Don't feel like everything you do has to be new and creative and different. In fact, it needs to be a lot of the same over and over, because the mere exposure effect, the way our brains learn, is by repetition. So if you want to build know, like, and trust, if you want to be remembered for being the real girl, then you need to show up as the real girl over and over and over. As yourself, unwavering. So this is a simple video, guys, today, and I really just hope that this seeps into everything that you do. Yes, in your content and your messaging, because for most of us, that's the top of our business. That's where most people come from. But then use that same language, use those same values when you enroll someone, when you build your programs, when you do a one-on-one coaching call. Know what your values are so that you can consistently show up and embody them. Write it out on a Post-it note, because this is where raving fans come from. When they feel like, I know, like, and trust her because she's the girl that does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She has these 5 values. I know, like, and trust her because of them. And she always shows up like herself. You guys know, you can tell the people who are like copying and pasting other people's posts. You wouldn't believe how many of the same posts I see recycled out there. So the best way to build a brand of raving fans is to be authentic. Cliche, I know, but it's because it works, and to show up consistently. So I would love to know what questions you guys have about this and where you're going to take this. As you know, we have lots of resources here on the channel to help you really get down into the nitty-gritty of this, but I want to give you permission today to show up authentically, consistently, as yourself, with your voice, and to stand up for your values, because that's what's magnetic. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you and say that as soon as you start showing up like your true self, you'll get all of these fans. What's actually gonna happen is that you polarize people, and that's exactly what you want. Nobody remembers vanilla. Nobody remembers the blonde girl next door who says the same thing as all of her peers. People remember the ones that stand up for something, that have values, that use their voice. So it's okay if you have more dislikes on your YouTube channel when you start doing this. It's okay if you lose some followers, because the quality, you want raving fans, like I said, the ones that are ready to buy, who want to work with you, who are either on the sidewalk or on the treadmill, getting to know you. And so be polarizing, stand up for something, because that's a memorable brand. This is where your legacy comes in. Don't be vanilla, be yourself, and stand up for those values. Like I said, we have lots of resources here on the channel to help you implement this. We have the nitty-gritty of building your content calendar and how to write captions that convert. All of that is here. But I really wanted to take this opportunity to give you this permission to show up like yourself. Let me know what your values are in the comments below. Be sure you subscribe so you can keep getting these nuggets and tidbits, so eventually, whether they're on the treadmill or the sidewalk, these raving fans become your high-ticket coaching clients. That's what we're here for, making your dream life and business your real life and business.